I thought my life was perfect. I had a loving wife, Sarah, 2 amazing kids, and a stable job. We were the picture-perfect family, or so I believed. The cracks started to show slowly. Sarah began working late, going on business trips that never seemed to have any clear purpose. She became distant, cold, and a stranger in our own home. My gut told me something was wrong, but I pushed the feeling aside. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. One evening, I came home early to surprise the kids. I found Sarah on the phone, whispering. When she saw me, she hung up abruptly, her face pale. The excuse she gave was flimsy, and the look in her eyes was one of guilt. That night, I couldn't sleep. I decided to check her phone records. My heart sank as I saw hundreds of calls and texts to a number I didn't recognize, all at odd hours. The truth hit me like a ton of bricks. She was having an affair. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. But what she did next was far worse than the betrayal itself. She broke down, not with remorse, but with a twisted story. She told me she had to find comfort elsewhere because I was controlling, emotionally distant, and, to my horror, abusive. It was a complete fabrication, a desperate attempt to paint herself as the victim. I was stunned into silence. How could the woman I loved conjure up such malicious lies? The real nightmare began when she started poisoning our children against me. My son, who used to greet me with a running hug, would now flinch when I entered the room. My daughter, my little princess, started looking at me with fear in her eyes. Sarah had been feeding them the same lies, telling them their father was a monster to justify why she was leaving. She was systematically erasing every good memory they had of me, replacing it with a fabricated narrative of abuse. My perfect family was not just broken, it was being deliberately destroyed by the person I once vowed to love forever. I felt like I was drowning. My wife had left me for another man, and she was turning my own children against me with the most despicable lies imaginable. For a few weeks I was lost in a fog of grief and disbelief, but then a fire ignited within me. I was not going to let her destroy my relationship with my kids. I was not going to let her lies define me. It was time to fight back. I started by documenting everything. I saved every text message, every email. I kept a detailed journal of her behavior and the changes I saw in my children. I spoke to a lawyer who specialized in family law and custody battles. He warned me it would be a tough fight, but seeing the evidence I had collected, he believed we had a strong case. The next step was the hardest. I had to prove my innocence, not just in a courtroom, but to my own children. I started small. I never badmouthed their mother. Instead, I focused on creating new, positive memories with them during my visitation time. We went to the park, built forts in the living room, and had movie nights with all their favorite snacks. I'd find old photo albums and we'd look through them together. I'd point to pictures of us on vacation, at birthday parties, all smiling and happy. I'd tell them, "Remember how much we laughed that day? That's the real us." Slowly, very slowly, I started to see a change. My sons started holding my hand again. My daughter would sneak in a hug when she thought her mom wasn't looking. They were seeing the difference between the monster their mother described and the father who was right there in front of them, loving them unconditionally. The court battle was grueling. Sarah and her lawyer tried to paint me as an unstable and aggressive man, but my evidence was solid. Friends, family, and even our kids' teachers testified to my character. In the end, the judge saw through her web of deceit. I was granted joint custody, and the judge ordered mandatory family counseling to help repair the damage Sarah had caused. It wasn't a clean victory, and the scars are still there. But looking at my kids now, seeing the genuine love and trust back in their eyes, I know it was a fight worth fighting. But I won back my children, and that's a victory I'll cherish for the rest of my life. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever been in a similar situation, know that you are not alone, and the truth has a way of coming to light. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.